Welcome to Shadeinthecity. I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into none other than 90 Day Fiancé. It is season 11, episode 5. It is the price of love. Oh, I'm sorry, it's episode 7. What am I talking about?
It
Yeah,
does.
okay.
Oh,
It is number 7, but I really got it up here as 5. Okay, don't judge me. But yeah, it's called The Price of Love. Okay, so sorry for the confusion. All right. If you haven't already, all of our 90 Day Shade Squad and our new viewers, please make sure that you hit that like button for us.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's jump right into it. I feel like this was kind of a lackluster episode. At least maybe the couples that I had. I feel like Nell's got most of the like meat and potatoes of it. But yeah, y'all, let's get into it and let's get shady. So we open up this episode with Shekinah and Sarper. All right. Sarper is growing on me. I will say that. Maybe because he seems like he's growing a little bit. All right. So we see that Shekinah has kicked Sarper out of her house, so she can see her client. And he jokes about being homeless part-time. I ain't even gonna hold you. That was kind of funny. As he's out there counting trees, production asks him for his thoughts on, Shekinah being concerned about him being tempted. And Sarper says he can't be tempted, even if the women were to be out here showing the breastises. He'll look and go. Okay, he'll just look and go. All right. And so he said it's nothing special. Okay. And clearly, because he's seen what, 2,500 of them. So he gets a FaceTime from his parents and they ask about Shekinah. And so he lets him know that she has a client and, has put him out in the meantime. And his dad asked, well, why didn't she tell you that before? And Sarper was like, yeah, well, that's clearly not something that, we talked about. So then Shekinah talks about, how unprofessional it would be to have Sarper there, which to her point, but I wouldn't have invited someone in my space if it couldn't accommodate them. So
I thought it was weird. She said it was unprofessional to have him there, but you have a whole production team recording this lady in her intimate moment, and while she's talking about giving hand jobs with calluses all over them. But Sarper couldn't be there.
When she's right, she's right. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's a very look. And is that what she was saying? Because I was so confused. I thought when she said calluses, I thought she meant because she was giving him a foot job.
You said a foot job.
Yeah. And then, so when she said she had calluses, I was like, oh, because they do the callus remover when you go to the nail salon to get the feet done. And they'd be like, do you want the callus remover? So I thought that's what she meant. She was giving him a foot job.
I'm going to go back on mute.
So anyway, y'all. Clearly my mind be everywhere. I definitely wasn't thinking about nobody's hands. I swear that was the furthest thing from my mind. I'm surprised I didn't.
Carly Red? What are you talking about?
I'm surprised I didn't go Google, can you get calluses in your mouth? I'm telling you, I definitely didn't think nothing about no hand. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move forward. All right. So Sarper tells his parents what he dislikes most is Shekinah's rules about how, they can't cook in the home. He basically explains they're eating out every day, which they know is not healthy. And then he talks about how tiny the house is. So Sarper is like, look, if it wasn't for the fact that I actually love this woman, I wouldn't be doing this. Okay. So his parents remind them that, look, y'all have, crossed the ocean for each other. Okay. So if y'all gonna do all that, just give it your best shot. And so what Sarper tells them is, okay, I am, but what I need you to do is make sure that you don't rent my house out yet. I want to make sure I have my plan B. Okay, which is smart. And so long story, and my notes literally say long story short, Sarper isn't happy. So then we see them go out with her friends and or what's supposed to be her friends. They all look so plastic and so oh god. Anyway, so she kind of tells tells Sarper that she wants things to go well because these people mean a lot to her and it would affect their relationship if they can't get along. So she's especially worried about this friend Dan, which I don't necessarily know, and I will be very interested to get Nell's perspective on Dan because Dan don't seem like a friend. Dan seemed like an ex that is just still hanging around your friend group so he can be around you.
I think Dan is so thirsty that he doesn't give X. He
Would you say he's
gives
so thirsty he doesn't give X?
that he doesn't give X. He gives like he might have been close to smelling it before, but never really got to it, and that's why he's so thirsty. He don't give me X. He
Well,
just
he does give thirsty.
gives too
But yeah,
thirsty.
no, Dan admits that he still has feelings for her. And basically as they're going through this, Sarper is look, I'm trying to make a good impression, but this and Sarper really was because I honestly I clearly he was trying to get a reaction out of Sarper, and I'm happy that he didn't react. Um, and that's why I said Sarper clearly has grown, but it would have been very hard for me.
And you saw he got so upset talking back and forth with Sarper, and Sarper didn't react. He had to get up and leave himself.
Right.
He wasn't getting the reaction that he wanted. Talking about, I can't hear this. Sarper didn't even say nothing.
And then what I thought was crazy was he was like, oh, well, we were dating. And Shekinah was like, we were never in a relationship. And I think she said this before. And he was like, it doesn't matter. Or what he said in he told production, well, they've definitely done more than kiss or something like that. And I was like, you all slimy, like you want so bad, you want her so bad, and because she don't want you, and it's just it's giving real thirst bucket, as Nell said. But yeah, so Sarper's like, look, I'm trying to be nice, but if this can keep messing with me, I'm already not happy as it is, and what I'm not to do is have this DICK slinging contest with this man. That's what I'm not doing.
I couldn't even be mad at Sarper if he reacted.
No,
Whether
that's why I said I'm proud of him because I would
I
have
was
reacted.
Shekinah or not.
It's different if someone is like playing coy, like and acting like, oh, well, no, I'm just their friend. It's a lot different when they're in your face, letting you know, no, like, no, I'm still very much want them and would like to be with them.
And
And
I'm
then goes
better for them than you.
than you, child. And I love when Sarper just said, no, you're not a bad boy. You're a good boy wanting to be a bad boy. So no, you're not her type. I said, okay, Sarper. Okay. And like Nell, and so then like Nell said, he gets up, he tells Sarper that he doesn't believe anything he's saying. He feels like if he should have said he knows he's gonna marry Shekinah in the 90 days. And because he didn't, he feels like he doesn't know what he wants, and he thinks he's, FOS. I'm abbreviating because y'all know it's not 15 minutes in, but yeah, and so that's when he walks off and stomps out in the middle of the night. On to Nelson's favorite, Mark and
Mark
Mina.
and Mina.
I don't know why it makes me every time I hear their name, it makes me think of Mork and Mindy. I'm old, y'all. Don't judge me.
Who?
I used to watch a lot of Nick at Night.
I don't know who those people are.
It's a really
okay,
old,
so
it's an
they're
old
headed.
show. Like real
It
bad.
doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. You know what it is. So they're headed to meet up with his family. Mina let him know, listen, I'm not talking to Jordan. She said that she needs her space. And he said he cool with it because at this point, the problems are stacking up against them and everybody's frustrated. He said he don't even know how to fix this at this point. So he suggested maybe to move forward. She apologized. She basically said that ain't happening.
I don't
So
like how Mark is, first of all, he's the reason why this is all going on. And the fact that he just is like, well, I want to be hands off. I want you guys to work it out. I was, even though I don't see it for Jordan, I was with Jordan when she was like, I wish he would do more.
I literally, I think I put that somewhere in my notes. But
Mhm.
my thing is, you want to be hands off, but then when you decide to jump in, you want me to give a disingenuous apology. Tell your daughter to apologize.
Right, right.
So
Your daughter
Jordan,
was the one that was rude as hell. It wasn't me.
exactly, exactly. So Jordan and her boyfriend met them at the docks to get ready to get on the ferry. Uh, she did greet Mina. Now I don't know if Mina greeted her back. I didn't see it.
I don't
But
think Nina greeted her.
I do know that she said she wasn't giving no fake ass hello. So
Uh-huh.
then the girl said, it feels like Mina should be the one trying hard to get to know her because she's the one coming into to the family marrying her dad, and they don't know her. Girl, nobody kissing your ass. You should just welcome her. The hell?
Right. Why are you looking at it as the fact that that's who your dad chose, so I should be trying to get to know her? And she's the mother of my little sister.
Exactly. Now, like I said, there was one thing I did agree with. She said that her dad should have stepped in and tried to mediate. Jordan is telling her dad how awkward it is because she knows Mina's mad at her. And Mina feels like it's super awkward because the girl got all this negative energy just radiating off of her. So then Jordan turns around, told her that she wanted to clear the air and have a good weekend and spend some time with Maria. And Mina thought that, she's like that basically she thought it was honorable and nice for her to do it, but she just don't know how genuine it is. And it wasn't at all.
No, it wasn't genuine at all.
It was to make it seem like she's the bigger person and girl bye. Um,
And the
but
crazy part is, the thing about it is, I feel like she wanted to talk or break the ice because she was uncomfortable, not because Mina was. Mina didn't have no issues not talking to her and not
mhm,
addressing her. You were the one that felt uncomfortable.
mhm. But then when they reached their destination, she said Jordan and Gabe got off the ferry super quick. She said probably to go to the house and talk big stuff about them. And
I believe
that
it.
is what it was given, yeah. So when they started talking about what type, Mina and Mark started talking about what type of reptiles they might have out there. She mentioned a snake, and Mark asked her to stop calling his daughter a snake. He's like, I don't know how they do it in France and what it mean over there, but over here it ain't good, and I don't like it. So stop it. Okay. So then when they got to the house, it definitely looked like Jordan pulled. Was it the mama? His mama? Was he talking to her
Yeah, I
mama?
think it was his
Yeah,
mom, her
his
grandma,
mama.
basically.
Yes, and it definitely was given she was talking about Mina. But Mark's mother, Sherry, said, the first night they flew in, they all were tired. Mina fixed them a beautiful, fabulous meal. And they left there feeling really good about her. But really, it's given maybe she was the only one that felt that way because
Well, it's so funny because I thought that too, and then only for her to turn around. Oh, no, 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 it wasn't her. It was, I
no,
think, the
it was a
sister-in-law.
sister-in-law. Yeah,
You're
the
right.
sister.
You're right. You're right. Grandma was the only one that saw it for her. You're right.
Mhm. So everybody seems to like her, like I said, except for Jordan, the sister-in-law, and then we also saw the brother. Okay. She says that while they were there, they didn't really feel welcomed. She said she also had a problem with the fact that she was 4 hours late and says that Mina told her family and friends that they were gonna start later, but didn't let them know. Now I'd have been pissed
I
about
would have
that.
had an issue with that too.
It's different. What I understood was the party was going on and Mina was 3 or 4 hours late to the
Right.
party. But if the party wasn't starting and I'm sitting around for 3 or 4 hours and everybody else know except for us, yeah, I'm gonna have an issue.
Yeah, we
It's
would have a big problem.
Yeah, that's super disrespectful. Um, so Mark is in the kitchen talking to his brother and wanting to know if Jordan was basically talking stuff when she got there, and he confirmed that she was. And he said, she was really upset after the parents, after the Paris trip. Okay, while Mark is talking about how he thought it was great, and his brother said, "No, homie, I'm going to stop you right there because it definitely
Okay.
wasn't."
He said
He
she wasn't the only one that felt that way.
Yeah, he said, I didn't like the fact that she was 3 or 4 hours late, then came in like she was a big old princess, and they didn't talk much the entire weekend, and said that he supports Jordan's feelings. So Mark is feeling like, he might want to lead his barbecue because he doesn't feel that Mina's getting the support, or acceptance that she deserves. He
But he
said,
doesn't. He does, and that's what I don't like. He lets her get attacked. He
mm-hmm,
lets her.
mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to be her protector.
I
Even
think,
the conversation, I'll let you get into it, but that pissed me off. I was like, why are we having this conversation with the whole
mm-hmm,
family?
mm-hmm.
Oh, that made
Um,
me so mad.
he said the first night she was cool, but after that, it went downhill. And then said that they all booked refundable tickets to the wedding. I was like, "Oh, that was okay. That was shady." So
Right.
Mark went outside. He's talking about the Evites, and his daughter asked if they've talked anymore about a prenup. Now, I don't know. I'm starting to think part of this girl's problem is she's worried about inheritance. She worried about her coming in and taking all his money, so she ain't got none. Is really what is given. But he said, yeah. He's like, I think we're gonna do that. And Mina said, oh, okay. So you also think I came here for your money? Um, he said no, he doesn't think that, but because our age difference, it's the common thing to do, and said that um, he would never not take care of them, but really it's just to protect the things that he had before they met. So Mina, she said she's done with the conversation. She needs a second. In the confessional, Mina said that that they've never spoke about this, and she finds it disgusting. So she's super emotional. Jordan is confused because she thought that Mark and Mina had the conversation, and he said that they definitely did. He just thinks that there was a misunderstanding, and Mina's pissed off that she's given the vibe that she's a thief. Basically, I would just come in and take all the things that you have.
So, point to something you said. I absolutely agree that I think that the daughter is more concerned with some type of inheritance or just what she's collected from her
Mm-hmm.
father, and why she's counting his coins like that, I don't know. Um, but I would imagine, I'm going to assume, and I'm going to assume that I would think that her father, probably because of his job, wasn't home very often
Mm-hmm.
because he was off flying the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me the vibe that she's a spoiled rich kid. And I don't I love you because I love your money. I love you what you can do for me, if that makes sense. But as far as them having some, like, and maybe I'm wrong, but as far as them having some deep emotional connection, I don't see that, because the only thing that she ever brings up is money. Not, hey dad, I really want to spend more time with you. Hey, not, hey dad, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, no, she's concerned about is his coin. Okay. So Greg and Joan, Greg says that things have been going well, at least he thinks so. Because everything's just, mama ain't killed her yet. She good, or unalived her yet, and she ain't unalive mama, so we good. But she is starting to become a little frustrated with him. So he's like, now I have another woman nagging me. So she gets a call from her family in Uganda. She's talking to her, I believe it was her sister, and I'm not sure who else was on the call, because it was mainly her sister doing the talking. But she tells them about the timeline changing for living in Lucille's house. And her family agrees that they think 2 years is too long to be in his mother's home. So she explains that he doesn't have the money for a house right now. Her sister suggested that maybe you teach him how to save, or maybe he can get a job. How about that? Okay. And so Joan lets them know that he doesn't take work seriously. And she's like, look, I love him, but I realize that I'm really losing a lot. And so, she said she tells production she feels ashamed. And I could imagine you clearly were a hard worker. You had a lot going for you where you were, and you came over here to be with this broke, pale man
who refuses to do anything to
right.
change that.
Yeah. So, and she said, of course, her family over there, they view America as the land of opportunity. And she said, and this is not what this is. So her sister asked her what Greg had to say about the. So I guess as we've seen in 90-day history before, there's a dowry that needs to be paid, so they can get married. And Joan admits that she hasn't really said anything about it. It sounds like she mentioned it, but didn't really go into detail because he's not financially stable. So they let her know, look, he got to pay that dowry or y'all can't get married. And this is as he's sitting on his behind, or I can say it now, as he's sitting on his ass playing video games. That made me so mad. Oh, whoo, hold on. This is what really made me mad, right? So then we see Greg and Joan, they out here collecting eggs because they got the chicken coop in the backyard. So Joan wants to know when they plan to eat these chickens. She's like, why are y'all just keeping them? We don't do this. In my country, they may be around for 4 months.
Hilarious. When she said, so when can we, when she was like, when can we eat one? I was like, girl, y'all already collecting the eggs. But then I was like,
I love when she started
chicken.
When she started calling out the names of the chicken, she was like, we could eat Beatrice on Saturday. I said, oh my God, girl. It was a cute little Kiki though. But yeah, so no. So Mama Lucille comes out and she's like, hey, she says, I'm gonna go work for a few hours. So then Greg lets us know that he got so tired of his mama following him around from room to room all the time because clearly he's always home. Because she couldn't follow you everywhere if you weren't at the house. But anyway, so he apparently he's tired of that. And so he introduced her to ride sharing during the pandemic. Okay. And so that's what she's been doing. And that's her side hustle. And I said to myself, why is it that you can introduce your mama to a job and you couldn't introduce yourself to one? Help me understand this. How is it that I'm assuming Lucille got to be about a good 60, 70? How is it that Lucille can get out here and go make her some side money, but you can't find no way to get you? I'm just appalled, y'all, but y'all let me know. That would have been it for me. If I was Joan, and the fact that you out here watching your mama do it and you not getting up every day and going to do something, Uber Eats to do something, oh, we would have had a problem. But anyway. So Lucille tells production that things are going better than she thought, and Greg does seem happier. And then so they go to sneak off since they got private time and go to do do what lovers do. And so but she admits that this living arrangement's not working for her. And if he can't get a job, then basically she lets him know that she's going back to Uganda. So Greg wants to know, like, oh, so you joking, right? And she tells him, no, I don't want to be with somebody that's unstable. And I respected it. And she said, meeting with his friends who are the same age and he's the one with the issue. She said, no, I'm not looking to do that. So Joan reminds him that he shouldn't have turned down the job before she came, and basically tells him he doesn't take life seriously. And Greg feels like, if he had a regular 9 to 5 and, he wouldn't be able to visit her like he did, and he wouldn't have been able to set up on his video game like he got to. And so, their relationship wouldn't be where it is. I threw the video game part in, but still. And so Joan tells him about the dowry and how he needs to pay for, I think it was 15 cows, and each cow is like $200. So he's like, nobody can afford that. And she says, no. You can't afford that. And I said, well, and so Greg questions, well, what happens if the job doesn't come? And she said, well, then we won't be getting married because you can't take care of me. And I said, it's all right with me.
I absolutely loved Joan this episode.
I love Joan.
All right. So next
I love when they come up here with some sense. Go ahead. Who is it? Shawn
Shawn
and
and
Aliyah.
Alliya. Yes. So they go to meet up with his friend Angela. They were at some cute little gay bar playing bingo. And Aaliyah's confused. She was like, "Is this like popular for the gays?" And then he said, "Yeah, because of 069," and that just went right over my head. I don't.
That went so over my head too. And I was sitting here laughing because I was like, is it just because he's 62 and gay? Because I don't think that that's like, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in that community. Y'all can drop down in the comments to let me know. But is that bingo a thing? Because I would think maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a drag show I would think would be more common. I don't know. But bingo,
Well,
I just,
it was kind of a drag show too, but I think the 069 thing just confused me. He just threw me off with that. I didn't know what the heck that was about. But they decided to take the party outside. Um, and Angela's getting a rundown on how the fiance visa works. And she feels like, it's a lot of pressure, but I guess not that big a deal. You guys known each other for 3 years. Aliyah said, but she doesn't know any of his friends or family, and thinks that, he didn't tell them about her. And he was like, yeah, I definitely didn't. So she asked Angela what he told her about Aliyah. And she said that she basically knew about Douglas. And in a confessional, Angela said that, that's her unalive name. And, it's very hurtful when people use it because it reminds her of things, um, that she just doesn't want to think about anymore. So then said, about 6 months ago, he told her that Douglas had transformed into Aliyah permanently, and he was still trying to wrap his mind around all that. He said for him it was kind of like a death, and he felt like he just kind of had to let Douglas go. Then again, Angela is, saying the name again. And Aliyah said that she didn't want to correct her because she didn't want to be rude, but it did kind of, it made her make her freeze, and she just didn't know how to react. So after Angela left, Aliyah let him know that she's not happy about them using her unalive name, and they both were using it a lot. Shawn said he didn't have like much he didn't have much to say besides the story and telling the backstory, and Aliyah just feels like that he should have spoken up, while he feels like she should have spoken up.
do you feel
um
that he's kind of, I don't know if you got the vibe, but I feel like I get what Shawn was saying, and I'm not saying, I think that he's absolutely entitled to his feelings. Like I think both of them are right in how and validated in how they feel. My only thing is the way that he comes off very insensitive, unempathetic, and when he talks to her. Like he was just like when he was like, "Oh, so what, so when I meant nothing and did it," I was like, why does it need to be that? Like, I don't know. It was a little too dramatic for me. And I was like, yeah, you're very, I don't know. I didn't like that. Because Aliyah seems very sensitive.
mhm, mhm. But yeah, it makes her feel like it makes her question whether he loves her as Aaliyah. So then the next day they went to go do some shopping, and he asked her if she's still irritated about last night, and she said, "Yeah, you're constantly using my unalive name." And then of course he continues to use it, and then like Tree said, the whole nothingness of the Douglas name. And he said that it's not a jab, but she needs to understand that there would be no Shawn and Aliyah if there was no Douglas. And he wants and she wants to he wants to be able to tell the full picture of them. So she told him that she should correct people when they say her unalive name. And Aliyah basically I'm sorry, and then what's his face, what's the boy's name,
Shawn.
Shawn basically put it back on her and said, you should let people know if it makes you uncomfortable. He said that he didn't even know that it makes her uncomfortable. And she said that she feels like she's enough and doesn't feel that, he should have any reason to miss that or want that. And she just wants to focus on the future and their wedding. In the confessional, he said his biggest fear is that he's a part of the problem because they have pictures and videos from the past, but now they need to be forgotten and discarded, and wonders if he needs to be discarded as well. So Shawn said he went through a long period of mourning. I think I'm starting to feel like this is part of the reason why there's this uh, insensitivity. It's like, I met you this way. You kind of made your decision on who you want to be now. I don't really
Right.
have a choice. I don't really
Well,
have a choice.
but Shawn I would agree, but Shawn was actually the one that supported it, and you get what I'm saying, and helped her.
I don't think he thought it was going to be a permanent change, is what I'm
I agree
saying.
with you. I agree. That's why I said they're both valid in how they
Mhm.
feel. That's the crazy part.
I
Nobody's
think he
wrong.
was okay supporting it and wanted her to be her. And, if you like to do this, absolutely. But I met
Right.
you a certain way. And I think once he knew Douglas was gone for good, is possibly where the issue came in. So yeah, he said that he had to do a long period of mourning Douglas. But there's an inner light to both of them that he's drawn to. So when they sat down at dinner, he told her that he knows she's having a problem talking about her past, and he's not purposely doing anything to hurt her feelings and, trying to make her upset about the past. He said it's just that they haven't talked about it before, and as much as there's a change, he's rolling with the changes. So he said that he sees her, he loves her, and he made her something. He said that he has a present for the present. Now, I thought this was super sweet. In the beginning of their relationship, she made him a scrapbook that was titled Shawn and Douglas, with pictures of them and their adventures. And then with the transition, there were no more pictures. So he made her one called Shawn and Alliya, with pictures of them. And of course, this made her super emotional. She said that it made her feel embraced and important to him. And she actually told him that she was speechless. And then she went to bed with some lingerie on, as she should. I said, girl,
No,
you
that
got,
was sweet. Now that was very sweet.
I thought it
So,
was
but
super cute.
I just, but in the moment, I was like,
Mhm,
oh, you're a butthole. Like,
mhm.
and it was like I said, nobody was wrong for their feelings. It was his delivery.
I think, and I think and I'm not saying he's right, but if we were to separate Douglas and Alliya and say that they weren't the same person, you have to think of it as he's basically saying, I am mourning this person that I
Right.
no longer have, and you don't want me to talk about them. You don't want to hear about them. I can't mention even their
But
name.
this is the
And this is
person that I
something
fell in
I
love with.
loved and I
Right.
still love, and I'm still mourning them, and I will never see again. Do you know what I'm saying? So if they were two separate people, I think he wouldn't come off as such a butthole. If Alliya
Right.
and Douglas were actually two separate people, it would actually kind of be like, Aaliyah's the butthole. Like, damn, you don't want to, like, you're still in love with this person, but I don't give a damn. I don't want to talk about them. But because it is the same person, um, it does make it harder. It makes it harder, and it does make him come off like a butthole. But I do understand that this is somebody that he loved and just will never see again.
Good point. Okay. Look at Nels with the being the voice of reason around here. All right. So now let's get into Jessica and Juan. I ain't even gonna hold you. Based off my notes, I clearly must have missed something because I literally have all of maybe 3 sentences for them. So I clearly missed a whole, unless they just only had this one little scene. I ain't got nothing else for them, y'all.
Girl, they're the only people in this episode I have no notes on. So carry
Mm,
on with your three
okay.
sentences.
Well, y'all drop down the comments. Let me know if I missed anything. So Jessica and Juan, they, had the disagreement in the car. The last episode we saw them, and apparently they went straight to bed. But Jessica's happy about this because apparently the kids found their way back home. I thought somebody was watching them, but they found their way back to her house. And so she was happy that they were in the bed so they didn't feel the tension. So apparently, I guess it's Christmas morning. They're going to see their daddy, but she's bought matching pajamas for the family, which Juan is not used to. And she explains that, this is like a Christmas, American Christmas thing that we do over here. So as they're walking the boys to the father's house, which I mean, in comparison to hers, I do feel it wasn't a mansion, but I was like, oh, that is a nice house. but it's a nice house. Okay. You used to live there? You used to live there and he didn't let you keep the house? Just saying. But I mean, hey, at least you got something. You have a house. So, I'm just saying. So anyway, yeah, so then as they're walking back home and they're talking about what happened, and he says that he was hurt because well, basically she was like, no, we need to talk, because what I'm not going to allow Juan to do is make me feel like I cheated when he's the one that did it. That's what we're not doing. So as they're talking, and she explains that she got lonely, and I guess that they were going through a rough patch. They weren't really communicating, and so I guess it sounds like they were both doing their own thing. The only difference is she didn't actually act on it. But she said that's why she forgave him for cheating in the first place, because she knew she wasn't exactly perfect herself. And so she just tells him she's concerned if he's ready to live normal life, because he hasn't in a while, and he admits that she has a right to be concerned, because he is realizing that life is totally different from boat life. And she asked him if he's ready for it, and he says he is. He guesses. And I said, well, good luck with that. Okay. So yeah, y'all. If there was anything else to Juan and Jessica, let me know, because guess what? I didn't get it. But yeah, y'all, we appreciate y'all for being here for the 90-day fiance recap. If you have not already, please make sure that you've hit that like button.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you guys subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, Blue Sky, IG, and the Facebook. Damn, I'm getting good. All right. We'll see y'all next week for another recap of the 90-day fiance. Have a good night. Bye-bye.